So anybody want to take a guess at what we're talking about today? Take a guess. Greetings, welcome, and good day. I'm Deanna. I typically introduce myself as a project manager and grants consultant, but today we're talking about me being a reader.
Having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card. That's right.
I have spent literally my entire life as a huge bookie, and as I've gotten older, I haven't been able to really read. However, I decided to take my reading much more seriously, I would say about 2 years ago now. And this year, I wanted to jump into 2024 with a little bit more purpose and direction in my reading. So instead of just randomly grabbing the first thing off of my shelf, I decided to make a TBR list for my, I say Q1, maybe a little bit of Q2, but this is my TBR list for the first couple of months of 2024. I made this list a few weeks back, so I did have to make some changes. I actually read some of the books already, so I will be sharing my original list and some updates and a few honorable mentions that either I want to squeeze into Q1 or I will see them in Q2. I curated my list based off of themes for each month. So starting with January, which is Mental Health Awareness Month, and it's the top of the year, I wanted to focus on books that would help with me personally, professionally, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, all that stuff. First up, it's a book that I've already talked about, and of course I've already read it, but it's 12-Week Year. I decided to revisit it this year because I wanted to create my 12-week year plan. Though I read the book, I did not follow the plan as diligently as I could have, and I wasn't as disciplined. So we're stepping into this year much more seriously. If you would like to learn more about this book, head to my description, check out my 12-week year video. I do a walkthrough and I show you guys the template that I use in Notion in order to map out and track my 12-week year. If you've watched any of my previous vlogs, you'll see that I'm big on God, big on yoga, and big on meditation. So a book that seems like it will encompass all of that is The Surrender Experiment. This is about a man, or I believe it's the author. Yeah. It's the author's journey with his spirituality, with meditation, with yoga, with his walk with God. This book explores his journey with kind of just letting go and letting God. He shares a lot of meditation practices and deep reflections about how him just surrendering has opened him up to a lot of different opportunities and has given him much more clarity and direction than he could have ever possibly imagined. So I'm excited to open this up. All right, no, I'm not gonna start this now. Let me not get caught up. Along with January being Mental Wellness Month, it also has National Poverty Day. And one book that of course, it's a part of a series because I love a series. I had to finish it, so that's one. Two, this book is taking place during a point in time where poverty was very heightened for specific people in a specific community. And three, the community just so happens to be Harlem during the Harlem Renaissance. So my next January read is called Harlem Sunset. I started book 1, so if you guys want to pick up on this series, book 1 is called Dead Girls. This story is about a young woman named Louise Lloyd living in Harlem during the Harlem Renaissance in the 1920s. And though she is just a girl trying to survive poverty, she is being tasked with helping who is she helping? She's helping this detective. She's helping this New York City detective figure out why these young girls of color are coming up murdered. They trying to solve the case. So then this story continues in book 2. It's rare that you see black people, I feel like, with like murder mysteries, especially based in Harlem. Like, I love that even more. So I will be reading that. Sticking with the theme of, mental health, mental wellness, mental awareness, things like that, and my love for psychological thrillers, I thought it was appropriate that I would throw in a psychological thriller for this month. And with that, I am going to be reading The Between. This is about a young man whose grandmother sacrificed herself for his life. He was supposed to die from drowning. Okay. His grandmother sacrificed her life to save him from drowning. So then all these years later, he has always felt like he was supposed to be the one that lost his life, and he is haunted by these demons and different things and stuff in his sleep. So he's working on trying to get his psyche and his mental wellness and everything in order, but externally he is also dealing with the monsters that are existing around him. And I've seen a lot of good reviews for this book. It's I feel like it's been around for a number of years now. Let me not lie, hold on. 1995. Okay, so I was right. It has been around for a few years. I'm excited to read this. Tana Reeve-Du. Please forgive me for saying your name incorrectly. I'm so sorry, but I'm still excited to read your book. The next one is not really on theme. I am really just a huge fan of dark fiction and anthologies. So this one is called Never Whistle at Night. First and foremost, I thought it was so interesting that it's an indigenous dark fiction anthology, so everyone in the book is of indigenous descent. And I love reading anthologies because there's so many different short stories by such varying authors with different styles and metaphors and similes and adjectives and verbs and such, and just how they write and flow. I love seeing like the word, like each story kind of flowing together but also standing on their own. Yeah, so excited for this. We damn near at the end of January, so, and I finished one of those and started the others, but we gonna see if I get through them. But February, I don't think I have to explain too much of how I built my list for February.
Let me ask you a question, Dr.
First up, I'm going to be reading Allegedly. First and foremost, what got me on this was the cover. Like, I was just like, why is this woman just standing there? And it's like ash, like fire or something like that. I don't know. But that's what intrigued me from that. 2 is Tiffany Jackson. She's an excellent writer, so I'm not going to question most books that she publishes. I'm probably just going to buy it. And 3, the plot is about a young black woman, church-going woman. They specifically mention that, but a black church-going woman and her 9-year-old daughter are babysitting this white baby, and in the course of her babysitting this baby, the baby ends up dead. And the woman, her name's Mary, yes, Mary is convicted. She is sent away. She serves her time. However, they don't really know if Mary actually killed the baby, so we will figure out who kills the baby in the pages as they unfold. So there's 2 things I've heard about this book so far. 1 is that the story really sticks with you, and that 2, there's a plot twist that I'm not going to be expecting. So just gonna wait for her to stress me out with that, huh? A timeless author, and I've already loved her books, and I love that she caters to my sci-fi and fantasy needs. But I will be reading Fledging. Octavia E. Butler, like her books, I don't know how she did it. I don't even know what to say. I don't know how she did it. Like the parables of the sower and parables of the talents, like the way that is really about right now, like she was really seeing into the future. Like it's creepily accurate. This book is about a young girl who wakes up in the middle of nowhere, I believe in a desert, and she has amnesia. She don't know who she is, but come to find out, she's not a little girl. She's actually a 53-year-old vampire, and she is on the run for her life because she don't know who, but somebody or some things are trying to eradicate her and her bloodline. So this follows her story. And if Octavia do what she did in Parable of the Sower and Talents, this is gonna be great. Before I get caught up, this next author, everything that I've read by him so far, I have been literally on the edge of my seat from paragraph 2. Like, it's so action-packed, high intense, like you really be feeling the characters. Oh my god. Like my first book with him, well, let me show you the book first. Next, I will be reading My Darkest Prayer. My first encounter with S.A. Cosby was Razorblade Tears, and for anybody who read that, yo, my man's Buddy Lee, such a controversial character, but that's my guy, okay? Anyway, as I said, before I get caught up, this book is about a man who works in a funeral home with his cousin, and you know, go about the day. Like, I mean, I can only imagine what it is to work in a funeral home, but then he is left with the responsibility to figure out how and why the, I think, priest or minister, wait, hold on, yes, a local beloved minister is found dead, and for whatever reason he is now responsible for uncovering this truth. In the midst of him unlocking why this minister has died, he is also facing a lot of corruption and dark secrets in his small town. And the way S.A. Cosby has written everything else I've read by him, this is about to go crazy. We'll talk about his books another time. Oh man, I got like back-to-back authors that just they've been stressing me out. But the next one, oh my gosh, I've been told by people to pick up her book sooner, but I wasn't like a romance girl. As I said, I'm heavy in fantasy, heavy in sci-fi, but she has changed my mind completely. I can say I am a romance lover now. And the book that I'm going to be reading is called Before I Let Go. This has been on my shelf for over a year now. But like I said, I wasn't really the romance girl. I wasn't banging with romance. And then I picked this up. I read this book in less than a day. Like, I flew through it. And the way my emotional strings were just being tugged in so many different directions. Like, oh my God. I know I already talked about this like on TikTok and shit, but if you're seeing this again, girl, oh my God. And yes, it's a series and I've already started book 2. In this book, I will be reading about a young businesswoman and entrepreneur and their love story, how their lives intertwine. And I don't know if I can handle it. Like, oh my God. Kennedy Ryan, she's just so good. Oh, she's just so good. This next one was on my original list and I still may read it, but I think I might switch her out. This one is called Wings of Ebony. This book follows the story of a young girl named Rue, and she is living in a world of poverty and again fighting for her life, trying to just survive each and every day. And then come to find out, she's not just a human, she's also half God. So this story follows her unlocking her powers, like realizing her true potential. And it also talks about how she's going to be like battling the systemic injustice that exists. So she got powers too. Yeah, it seems like it might be a quick read, so I may or may not still get this read done. However, what I wanted to trade her for is Deacon King Kong. I read The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride, honestly, because Barnes & Noble said it was their book of the year and I had to see what it was hitting for. And that book, again, we will talk about it another time, phenomenal. So good. A friend asked me like, oh, you know, I want to get back more into reading, like what book would you suggest? And I let him borrow, heavy on the borrow, but I let him borrow my copy of The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store. That's how good I enjoyed it. It was phenomenal. Anyway, Deacon King Kong is about the story of how a prior deacon in this area in broad daylight walks up to the local drug dealer, like in the middle of the projects that's there, takes out a gun and shoots him point blank range, again in broad daylight. So this story is following what the hell led up to the events of a deacon going up to the drug dealer and killing him in broad daylight in point blank range. James McBride has so many phenomenal books. I know this has been out for a while, but I have not read it, but I will be reading it this year. And if it's anything like the Heaven and Earth Grocery Store, I know it's going to be amazing. Finished up February, so now we're stepping into March, and again, it's Women's History Month. You already know what time it is.
Girls, we run this mother. Yeah.
First and foremost, I'm like picking up the books like just in a pile and picking up this one the way I'm triggered because I finished it already, so I have a replacement. That's what like when I said earlier I was anticipating allegedly, it's because I just finished this. Tiffany D. Jackson.
Emotional, damn it.
Y'all, if this ain't on y'all list, add it to the list. As I said, we're gonna talk about it another time, but instead of that, I will be reading Yellowface. Now, I've seen this book for a while. I feel like it has a very like prominent cover, but I never knew what it was about. I opened to the blurb and soon discovered that this book is about two friends. One of them is a Chinese woman. The other one, I believe, is a white woman, but she's not of Asian descent. The two friends, you know, regular life, they're best friends. The Chinese woman gets into a freak accident and dies. However, before her death, she had a masterpiece, like a phenomenal novel that was about Chinese people and their like experiences and the traumas and such that they faced during World War I. Her friend took it upon herself to take that novel and publish it herself and disguise herself as an Asian American woman so that she can take credit for her dead friend's work. That's a wild plot. I was reading it like, what? What kind of friend? Friend. I'll never get too far away from a series, so of course we have another one. This one is Ethic. Particularly, I will be reading Ethic 2. And yes, of course, I already read Ethic 1. However, Ethic 1 is not the start of this series. If you would like to start this, I'll dig deeper again another time, but it's the first book in this trifecta. Not even a trifecta. I think trifecta is 3. But the first book in this collection is called Moth to a Flame. And I love me some urban fiction. Like, the drama, the suspense, the violence, the emphasis, the connection. Like, oh my god, it's urban fiction will always be on my shelf. I don't care. This book follows what's the family's name? Okafor? Something like that. But it follows his family. The father's like a big time drug dealer. Everyone in the area knows that he is an infamous drug dealer. It talks about like loss and death and fighting and betrayal and realizations, and is so much packed into these little bit of pages. How many pages is this? 276 pages of stress. Total, I believe there's like 6 of these, so there will be 6 instances of me pulling my hair out, but that's all right. That's fine.
This is fine.
This is another book that has been on my shelf for a little over a year. I got it last year as a Secret Santa gift, and I want to read it this year, and March seems like the perfect month to do so. This one is entitled Nightcrawling. This book follows the story of a young girl, I believe her name is Kiara, and her brother. They live in Oakland in poverty, just trying to survive. And then some scandalous event occurs, and Kiara is a witness to it. So then the Oakland Police Department brings her into their investigation so they can unlock whatever that scandal is. First and foremost, love the cover, love that it is a black woman with box braids, like orange. It just popped. I mean, Oprah said it was valid, and I mean, I trust her opinions. Any of the book that I've picked up that has Oprah's book club sticker on it, it's been valid. So excited for this read. Damn, I got another series, y'all, and of course it's fantasy. This one is entitled Children of Virtue and Vengeance. This is another one that has been on my shelf for over a year. I found it at a coffee shop in South Philly. I think it's called Uncle Bobby's. Every time I want to do something, that train want to yell. Yeah, I think the place is called Uncle Bobby's. I went to the cafe. They had book 2. They had a bunch of other reads as well, but this is what I was looking for. This story is a continuation of book 1. And it talks about a young girl named Zelly who, in her world, there was magic. Magic has been eradicated. The current crown, or don't bangs with magic. They're trying to get rid of the magic kingdom. And she is trying to save her life, the life of her people, bring back magic to this world, and trying to get the crown to calm down, because why can't they all just exist together? And you gotta admit, the cover is fire. Like, the white hair against her skin with like the tribal tats and stuff. Yeah, book 1 was fire, so I know book 2 will be valid as well. I most recently got into this author, and I have been adding her to my shelf each and every month. Like, I'm going to literally run through all her books. So with that, I will be starting The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. B.E. Schwab is such an amazing writer. Another one that caters to me being a fantasy girly. My first encounter with her was what is it? I think it's the Darker Shades of Magic series. I don't know, but this was my first encounter with her. I got book 1, so I had to get book 2, and I had to get book 3. Like, there was no way I was going to sit and not knew what happened to the people in this book. Like, Me. This book is about a young woman, I want to say France in the like 1820s, 1840s, and she is granted immortality. However, with that gift, she is also cursed with being forgotten by everybody that she meets. So though she lives forever, nobody will ever recall of who she even is. And what a contradiction, right? To live forever, but to also like not really exist at the same time because nobody knows who you are. That's crazy. Can't wait to read this. So those are what I definitely want to read, and then these I will be squeezing in as best as I can, and if I don't, then as I said, we gonna see him in Q2. To start off my honorable mentions, we have The Covenant of Water. Again, Oprah, she hasn't let us down before, so I don't think she's gonna let us down now. I also find it very interesting when books have like multiple generations that are speaking to the plot, which this one is 3 different generations from years 1900 to 1977. I also love stories that are like based in places in the world that are foreign or different or unknown to me, or that like, you know, I can learn more about their culture, background, politics, things of that nature. This book is based in Kerala, which is on India's Malabar coast. I think that's mad cool. Every generation, at least one person dies by drowning, and in Kerala, water is everywhere. So it's like a curse that's following this family for 3 generations, and it seems like it's also going to be so much more than that. So I'm very intrigued. Oh shoot, I actually started this book. This one is A River Enchanted. Funny enough, I really only got this book because the Barnes & Nobles by me was having a closeout sale because they were moving locations, so everything in the store had to go. And in the midst of me and everyone else like fighting for books and trying to get a good deal and stuff, I found book 2 to this. I liked the plot and I was like, oh, this seems cool. But when I got home, I realized that was book 2. So then I had to go on the hunt for book 1. I think book 2, what is book 2 called? I think it's like A Fire Endless. I think that's what book 2 is called. But I found that first and I had to find book 1. However, the book 1s that were like available in bookstores or online in most places and such, it wasn't the matching cover. They updated the cover. So luckily I have a book of the month subscription and I found the cover that matches the book. Mad ridiculous. Like, I like uniformity, okay? This book thus far is about a young man named Jack. He is gone for 10 years from his homeland for, I still don't know what reason. He returns. He has a hard time when returning. Like, he gets dumped in the middle of the ocean. He gotta swim to shore and shit. He already going through a lot. It's a fantasy book, of course. They're trying to fight something that lurks in the dark. Mad secrets and stuff being unlocked. You know, typical really good fantasy read. But I'll keep you updated on how this turns out. Yo, if I pick up one more series, bro, oh my god. But like I said, another series, A Court of Mist and Fury. I read A Court of Thorn and Roses, and you see I did little bookmarks and everything, or book tabs and writing and taking notes and stuff in it. I read this like over a year ago, and I think if I remember correctly, I was just so mad at the characters that like I needed a break, which is why I didn't pick up book 2. But my friend was talking so heavy about book 2 and book 3. I want to say she's on or already finished with book 4. So I was like, nah, I gotta pick this up. Sarah J Maas, she did an excellent job in book 1. I heard great things about her other books. They are also on my TBR list. But this, I want to get her done. I already started a little bit. Let me not think too hard yet, but yeah, it will be read. I don't know when, but it will be. This next book, I have been wanting to buy it for a while, and I brought it maybe like a month or 2 ago, and I don't know why I didn't pick it up sooner, but it's The Vanishing Half. This story talks about twins, and they were growing up inseparable, but eventually they decided to live, you know, different lives. That's what twins do. However, they decided to operate in 2 completely different worlds. One was operating as white, and the other decided to operate as black. And that was enough. As soon as I read that, I was like, wait, what? And it's like that makes the title The Vanishing Half so much more powerful because they're each deciding to let go literally half of them. Yeah. I'm gonna read that. Honestly, truly, I think it's only right to have Stephen King on my list because like it's Stephen King.
Oh my god, Stephen King!
Hey, this would make a neat story.
Done.
I am going to be finishing Fairy Tale, another book that I started, did not finish. I got pulled into or distracted into another read, but I love this one so much. So far, reading it, it's about a young boy who, when walking home one day, his neighbor, who is kind of like Mr. Scrooge, gets into like a really bad accident. He's in the hospital, but his neighbor has a elderly dog. I think she is a German Shepherd. The boy offers to take care of the German Shepherd. The old man was in it with it at first, but I mean, if he's in the hospital, who's going to take care of his dog? So the old man agrees. The boy goes over every day to walk and feed the dog. He spends time with her. They start developing like a really good relationship, but some like, I guess, magical things start happening around the old man's house when the young boy is visiting. So then it's like him and the dog are going to check out what is going on, but their relationship is so cute, and like she really is like, oh, I just love the dog so much. Like, if you guys couldn't tell, I am a dog mom. I love my dog so much. That is my baby. So just to see the relationship and how like loving and caring this dog is so cute. So I'm excited to finish this. All right, last but not least, I kind of forgot about this. Not gonna lie, I brought this book a few months ago, mainly because of the cover. This one is called Battle Royale. I am a huge anime girly. I love anime. Funny enough, I got a One Piece t-shirt on right now, and this immediately, just from the cover, like reminded me of like Assassination Classroom. Like, that's the vibes it gave. And then when I read the plot, I was like, oh, okay, this is about a group of junior high school kids, and they are in this assassination program, like not for them to be assassinated, but for them to become assassins. They are taking to like this program, which kind of sounds like Squid Games in a sense, and they are all pinned against each other, and literally there can only be one. And they are provided arms and forced to kill one another until only one survivor is left standing. And I'm like, damn, with junior, not even high school, junior high students, so they like 12, 13 and they're training them to be assassins. This also kind of sounds like Assassination Classroom with a hint of like Hunter x Hunter. Anybody ever watch Hunter x Hunter and y'all know Killua? Him? It sounds like there's a bunch of him in here. This caters to me being an anime girly, though it is not manga, and it is, yeah, first published in Japan, so it is a Japanese novel. I'm hyped for this. This is a thick read too. Did I start this? Oh, it was another one I started. Let me stop starting and not finishing books. We gonna put an end to that this year, okay? Ooh, all right. That is my extensive list of reads for Q1 of 2024. As I said, I don't know if I'm gonna stick to the order. I might switch some things around. I might add even more books. We'll just see what happens. If you've read any of these, just give me a quick rating. Don't, no spoilers or nothing. But let me know how you felt about these books. If there's anything on your TBR list that you would like to share, please let me know. I am always looking for books. Always. Don't be shy. Share them. Share your lists. As always, thanks for watching. I hope you got some good reads from this video. Please make sure to subscribe, like, and share with anybody who's building their own TBR list. And until next time, bye y'all.